Hey there, my great friends out on YouTube. It's so good to see you back. Thanks so much for tuning in. I have a special guest today with me, obviously. This is my friend Sue, and you hopefully are familiar with Sue and her star performances. We have shot a few videos together, like role-playing and communication and all kinds of things, going to the doctor. Gosh, what else did we do? It's been a while. Hallucinations. So listen, you know, a lot of our communication is because we're just choosing the wrong words and we're actually starting a fight with our person with dementia. So I just want to fix that joke a little bit. But anyway, Sue has just been amazing in helping me out with some of these videos. And before we get into what we're going to talk about today, I want to ask you to please hit the subscribe button. I'm trying to reach 10,000 viewers by January 1st. So that's only a month away. So please hit the subscribe button, share this channel with your friends. There's a little curved arrow. That's the share button. If you click on that, it'll say copy URL. You click on that and then you can just like copy and paste it to your own social media or to your friends. So pick out some of your favorite videos that I've done and share them. I would really, really appreciate it. Today I'm here with the famous Sue Ledoux. She's a very dear friend of mine. We've known each other now for a few years. Yeah. And like I said before, Sue and I have done some other videos together. And if you haven't watched them, boy, you better look them up. A lot of them say role play on them. So look them up. They were done probably about 6 or 8 months ago. So look those up, watch those videos. They're amazing. And Sue also is an author. She wrote a book. Sue, why don't you show your book? It's called The Divine Meddler. Tell the viewers briefly about what your book is about.
Well, my hero's daughter is found murdered in a boathouse, and he is convinced he knows who did it, to the degree that he assaults him and kills him, and he enters a very dark place and ends up in a very strange place. He ends up in the middle of a cloistered monastery, which does not thrill him. And we're not too sure about the monks. They're either very pious or they're sneaky murderers. We don't know. So you have to read the book to find out what happens.
It's great. She told me the entire story, and I'm going to tell you, I can't wait to read it. It's really, really is amazing. And now she's almost done with her second book.
The sequel.
So get The Divine Meddler. It's available on Amazon. But Sue and I wanted to talk about a really, really important topic for you guys today. And what we want to tackle is taking care of a person with Alzheimer's or dementia from the standpoint of a family member. Because Sue has a really unique perspective because she is retired. What did you do when you worked in home care?
Yes, I did. I worked in the home care service unit for the county of Monroe, and it allowed me to get an overview of all of the ways families handle or mishandle the caregiving situation. And I'm also a widow now, but my husband needed 24-hour care before he died. And so I came at it from the point of view of a caregiver. And having been caregivers for my parents, I thought, if I am twitching and I'm a nurse, what does the layman go through? And so I focused a lot of my practice on caregivers as a patient group. Like you have the cardiac patient, you have the obstetrical patient. Caregiving is not a disease, but yet the nursing profession needs to look at a caregiver because their health is at high risk. And sometimes the caregiver dies before the care receiver. So I met Deb through an organization that deals with elder care, and that's how we became friends. And the caregiving issue, is a binder, but also she's a nice lady.
Only on camera.
No.
But it's interesting, Sue, because you've had the nursing experience and you've also had the personal family experience. And those can be very different.
Very.
And because I had that same kind of feeling because, I was out there training and teaching about dementia, and my mother was also diagnosed. And then when I spent time with my mom, it was very different than working with clients or other people's family members. It's very, very different.
It is.
So I know that you and I talked a little bit, and you know, some people are kind of gradually put into the caregiving role, and other people it happens like really quickly, like there's a fall or there's a medical condition, and then they're going to be discharged from the hospital, and you're just kind of thrown in, and you're like, oh my God. So tell us a little bit about your experience and how you handled that.
Well, mine was a slow decompensation on the part of my husband. And he had always been challenged with health issues. He developed rheumatoid arthritis when he was 9, and to the degree he was homeschooled. And then he went to high school, and very smart man. He won a 4-year scholarship to the U of R. He matriculated there on crutches. He worked for 40 years as a CSI, chemist in the Monroe County Crime Lab. He did not let anything hold him back. He was a warrior. So it was very difficult to see him decompensate. So I compare it to being a lobster put into a pot of water. And because he decompensated so slowly, like the lobster in the pot, the heat got hotter gradually until finally I was a boiled lobster at the end. But it was gradual. If you're suddenly thrust into it, you do have immediate help because your person is coming out of the hospital. The hospital is under legal obligation to put in a plan of care. You do get social work, you do get home care. So you do get some help. Whereas when you have slow decompensation, oftentimes you don't know where to go for help, or even that the help is there or that you need it. Because families see caring for each other as part of life. And so they don't see themselves as needing to seek care until it becomes a little bit on the unmanageable side.
Yeah. And you know, Sue, it's interesting because the holidays are fast approaching.
Oh, yeah.
So right now when we're filming this, it is December 2nd.
Yeah.
So, you know, the holidays are coming, and the stress level around the holiday increases in addition to caregiving. But what would you say, Sue, was some of the hardest things that you had to deal with as a caregiver?
Yeah. Aside from his gradual decompensation, for me, because there's a part of me that was always career oriented, and for me to have plans change suddenly drove me nuts. And one example that really sticks out, I had an appointment to meet over coffee with the editor of a publication that I was going to be a reporter for. As I was ready to walk out the door, my husband said 4 words: "I don't feel good."
Ugh.
And I had to cancel. And it was as if you took a balloon and popped it. And it was so difficult for me to learn to deal with this because, for me, it was a big deal. Or I'm looking forward to doing something a whole lot, maybe a gathering with friends, and those 4 words come out. And it's like everything is erased suddenly. And that was very hard for me to deal with. Finally, toward the end, I lost interest in doing these things so that it didn't hurt as much when they got. I mean, I was glad to do it. You know, if I'm going to a party with friends, I look forward to it. But I'm no longer devastated if he says those 4 words. And holidays, I got very used to not celebrating them at all. And we're both only children. And we have a son who's an only child who lives in Tennessee. So we do not have family gatherings like most people. And usually we would get together with friends. And that sometimes had to change. And it's funny because to this day now, it can be Christmas. And I'm perfectly fine if I'm home alone because I'm used to it now. Because I was kind of home alone in a way because he was just sort of there. Or go to a friend's house. Either one. Either way, I'm okay.
Yeah.
But that was the biggest mountain to climb because I am a type A, professional, obligation, complete the task person. And he really interfered with that a whole lot.
So as he's declining, you're actually socially withdrawing as well.
Yeah.
Because you have to stay home and take care of him.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that can be really difficult to number one, take on those responsibilities. And because, you know, some people, they don't want to be in that role.
Yeah.
Right? It's not like they chose to be a caregiver.
Exactly.
And they feel sometimes it's more of an obligation. And I just want to be very clear here that I feel if a person does not want to be a caregiver, they should not be a caregiver, because that's a recipe for disaster. And it's okay to say, I don't want to do this. I'm not going to do this. There are solutions to that.
That reminds me of a client I had. She was caring for her father-in-law out of obligation. And she was able to go away for respite for a week. When she came back, she wanted to put him in a nursing home because it was like she got a taste of freedom.
Yeah.
Saw gay Paris and did one, you know, and I said, that's okay, but give it a week and get reacclimated again and do what you want to do in the end. In the end, he was admitted to a nursing facility, and she said his pain control is better than I could have done.
Oh, wow.
He's doing better than he did at home.
Really?
And so sometimes caregiving, if you are not, as you say, equipped and don't want to do it, that's kind of like camping. Now, a lot of people out there like camping. I don't. To me, it's doing housework.
Me neither. Me neither.
I know that. So when caregiving turns into camping, and it's not helping your care receiver, it's okay to look, because you're still going to be a caregiver, because you are going to have to advocate for that person right and left.
Right.
Your role will just change. So you are not abandoning them. You are putting them in a better place for both of you.
Both of you. Yeah, you're not giving up. Yeah. Right? You're just making a different decision. And you know, I want to talk about those decisions too, because you know, there's always people around you giving you advice, right? Yeah. Like the neighbor, the friend, the cousin, the brother, sister, daughter, friends, whoever, saying, oh, how could you, oh, it's all about the money. You just want the money, or whatever it is. But, you know, sometimes our lives are made about making decisions.
Yes.
And we have to make the decisions that are best for us as an individual, and we don't have to answer to anyone. So I think that's tough for a lot of people to stand up for themselves. Like you were saying, you're type A, so am I. And we don't have a lot of problems sticking up for ourselves, but a lot of people do. Yeah. And so it's a struggle, but you know, we have to do what's best for us at the time. And with whatever situation, because nobody is in your exact situation. Yeah. So if you decide that this is too much, or you're taking a toll on your own health, and you know what, you don't even have to have an excuse, right? If you just don't want to, you don't want to, and that's okay. And if anybody else thinks otherwise, that's their problem. Yeah. You know, it's not your problem. Yeah. So no one walks in your shoes. You make the best decisions that you can make for yourself. Yeah. And you don't have to answer to anyone. No. So, Sue, if I was going to ask you if you had any advice to our viewers of taking care of someone with Alzheimer's or dementia, because your husband had some cognitive issues,
he really
right?
did toward the end.
What do you think would be maybe your biggest piece of advice? Or
I'll tell you what helped me the most, what got me through. And I kind of compare this to, what is it like if you woke up from bed, sleeping at night, put your feet on the floor, and you were at your workplace and had to go to work immediately? That's kind of like being a caregiver. And I struggled with that. And somehow I conveyed to my husband, I need time. So I had time in the morning.
So it's like you can't come home from work and turn it off, right? It's like,
no,
is
it's
that
like,
what you mean?
No, I mean like before you go to work, you get up, you have your coffee, you have breakfast, you get dressed, you get mentally prepared, and then you're ready to go. And I needed that. So my preparation for the day was coffee. I love coffee. And truly, I would read the Bible, and I would pray. And I don't mean a formal prayer. I mean telling God, I can't stand this anymore. I don't know what you want, what the plan is. You know, it's beyond me. Help me. And I would, because God knows everything before you say it, I would unload. And I know from a nursing perspective, this is like talking to a mental health therapist, and it's ventilating. But I'm ventilating to the person that can actually do something about the situation. Maybe not change him, but change me. And by the time, invariably, never failed. By the time I finished that session in the morning, I was prepared for the day. And there was a certain amount of joy that I wouldn't have gotten any other way.
So you took time for yourself.
Yes.
To do what was important to you, right?
And I somehow conveyed to my husband, because he wasn't totally demented. You know, I saw a wonderful sign. I love you more than coffee, but not before.
You see why I love her? She's hilarious.
I finally conveyed that to him.
Yeah.
And he went along with it.
Yeah. So, you know, I think that's a really important lesson, right? Because that might not be, Sue's situation might not be what you would want to do every morning, but I think there's a lot of truth to that, right? So make sure that you take even just a few moments, go in the closet and scream.
Yeah.
Like, why me? Why is this happening?
Yeah.
How much longer is this going to continue?
Yeah.
And take some time for yourself to do something small, even just for yourself. And it could be in the morning, it could be at night, it could be, you know, whenever. Like maybe at the end of the day, you're more tired, and that's when you need to take like a little break. But I've also heard that people journal.
Yes.
And that can be very, very helpful.
Meditation,
yoga,
all of it.
yoga.
You gotta do those things.
Yoga. You know, I grew an inch after I did yoga.
Whatever feeds your spirit.
Whatever
That's
feeds
what
your
you need.
spirit.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah.
So, Sue LeDoux, and I think, you know, we need to give her a big round of applause. So please type in the chat box, hi, Sue, to
sweet.
thank Sue. And you know what? Pick up The Divine Meddler. Seriously. This is a great book. You need a few minutes to yourself. Take this and read it. This will transform you into another world.
Yeah.
Trust me. It will take you there. So,
Thank you.
You know what? Maybe we'll have more videos with Sue. I hope so. Type in the chat if you'd like to see some more videos with Sue. She's very, very smart. That's why I hang out with her. So you know what? Thanks for joining us today. Make sure you subscribe and head over to answersabout.alz.org. I have a whole slew of free downloads for you. Right now, I'm really featuring the activities for every stage of dementia and different types of dementia, the life expectancies, and the symptoms. So you know what? Together, we can.